Hi guys, my name is Marcel and welcome to, actually, my very last video on YouTube. My very last video of 2022 on YouTube. Before I quit. I quit this year and then I'll start 2023. Where I'll stop uploading videos. Like these. I'll stop uploading videos like these and I'll focus more on tutorials again. Why y'all acting so scared today? Maybe you guys are aware, it's tradition over on my German channel that I'll end the year by showcasing my least terrible artworks I've painted over these last 12 months. However, this will not include sketches or unfinished stuff or scribbles. That's the stuff I post on my social media after all. This video actually only includes finished artwork and also sometimes footage of how I painted it. Actually, I was debating if I should make this video at all because, as you might know, my videos about painting and actual colored illustrations are always performing the worst, but then I thought, why not? You can just skip this video if you don't care about me rambling about my artworks. It's fine. See you next week when I upload my next video. So yeah, this video won't be your usual animated, highly edited tutorial. This video is just a grown man playing show and tell with pictures he's painted in the time he spent wasting away in his room all by himself this past year. What am I doing with my life? But yeah, the next video is in the work. It will go live very soon, and if you're a Patreon member, you can watch it a couple of days earlier. As always. I also have, like, things in the making. Actual big projects, merchandise, books, a calendar. Because I'm one of those people who still collect calendars. But I always feel like me rambling and chilling, my stuff has got to be so damn boring for you guys. And if you honestly care about my manga or my books, I'm pretty sure you've already read all about it on my social media or my homepage. So why would I waste any more of your time? Let's take a look at some mediocre artworks, because that's why you're here after all. Alright, let's take a look at this artwork first. It's the very first artwork that I finished at the 4th of January. Actually, I'm cheating a bit because I started this artwork in 2021. I just finished it in 2022. It's the very first artwork I've painted in a live stream this year. As you guys might know, I paint basically every artwork in live streams nowadays. So basically everything you see in this folder is something I painted live with you guys. I mainly speak German in my live streams. A couple of you guys already came over. I also like to talk English if, you know, people in chat are talking English as well. But that happens very seldomly, so yeah, as long as most people that are watching me are German, I'm going to speak German in my live streams. But don't hesitate to come over. I gladly answer everything in any language that I'm able to speak. And yeah, this artwork here, right here, is the perfect example of why I love using watercolors. I started painting with watercolors like 2 years ago, and I'm so glad I switched to watercolors. I love how vibrant they are. I love how basically non-expensive they are. I paid like 20 bucks for my watercolors and I never had to switch or refill anything since then. And as you can see, the effects you can paint with watercolors are like insane. It's right up my alley. If you're interested, I've made like a whole comprehensive watercolor tutorial already. I don't see myself making another tutorial anytime soon, since as you might know, painting videos just don't perform on this channel. But this video basically contains everything you need to know to get started. Also, something people commented a lot was comments about Cynthia's leg. I know it looks pretty slim, but it's not. It's just, you know, the light that's blowing out the lower part of her leg. If you look closer, you see the thickness of the leg is just right. Yeah. So, enough about thickness. Let's move on to my next big artwork, because this one, it basically took a month. I think it was about like 2 or 3 streams where I painted this Attack on Titan artwork. It was, you know, back then when Attack on Titan, like the second part of the final season was still airing. And painting this one, it wasn't a joke. As you might see, there's like almost a month difference between these two artworks. That's because it took everything out of me. I've made videos for 2 channels. I attend my 9 to 5. I stream. I'm maintaining 2 online shops. It's not easy at all, especially when painting such a humongous artwork as this. I've had my fair share of problems with this one, especially when it comes to Aaron, like on the foreground. I struggled with giving him the correct skin color because, you know, there's like yellow light in there, so the skin tended to be a bit too yellow, but then I basically repainted him with colored pencils, and then I think the skin color looked just right. Now only the highlighted parts are looking actually yellow, and it also has such a nice contrast with, you know, like a cold warm contrast between the yellow and the bluish hues. This artwork basically combines my favorite mediums from colored pencils, like I said, to mainly watercolor, of course, and also gouache. It just has to be one of my favorite artworks that I've painted, like, in recent years. And if by any chance I'm making another art book in the next coming years, I'll make sure to include this one, because yeah, there's like a lot of work I put into this one. I think my favorite detail about this artwork is how Reiner's arm basically fades into blue and yellow, but it still looks believable. I was just going off of color theory. I didn't plan this out exactly like it, but it just came together like this. And in hindsight, there's basically nothing I would change about this artwork, which is something I seldomly say. But yeah, this one exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect this one to look as good as it actually does. Now, I only painted 3 artworks in this size, and let's just take a look at the last one, which is this Dragon Ball artwork. I wanted to make a watercolor Dragon Ball artwork, or fan art, for ages now, but I just, for the life of me, never had time to. Initially, I wanted to make this artwork for my art book, so yeah, sadly I painted this artwork too late for it to be included in my art book, but the sketch or the initial idea for this artwork is something I've drawn, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago. And this year I finally came around to paint it. My initial idea for this artwork was to Goku to actually being in the progress of transforming, like him actually becoming a Super Saiyan with half of his hair still being black. But that was just a tad too risky. I was playing it safe. I just drew him full Super Saiyan. And I think it was the right decision after all, because also having black elements in this like yellow mess in there maybe would have been a bit too much or a bit too messy. Now you have like a clean contrast between a yellow and like the purplish hues that surround it. So the top half of this artwork is basically a perfect complementary contrast. And on this artwork, again, I noticed how happy I am with painting with watercolors. I basically only used watercolors with this artwork, which is like, which would have been mind-blowing to me a couple of years ago, because watercolor can be so versatile. If you just look at how smooth the Super Saiyan aura looks in this, yet at the same time I was able to paint harsh cell shading shadows, all with the same brushes and the same medium. It's like watercolor is basically the definition of being underrated. I just love this medium to death. And something I also noticed is how much I loved drawing Frieza. He's so expressive as a character. Maybe I'll draw some more of him, I don't know yet. But yeah, pretty iconic scene. Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation. I thought this could have been a great artwork, and turns out it was. It was a great artwork. Let's continue with the smaller sized artworks. These are like A4 sized or something like that. And the first one was Seto Kaiba. If you watched my video from last year, you know that I've already painted Yugi, and now I wanted to paint Kaiba, but I never came around to do it. But as you may be aware of, Kazuki Takahashi, the original author of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the mangaka, he passed away this year, and I thought maybe that was a sign to finally finish this artwork that I had laying around for so long. And I actually had to repaint this artwork. I didn't like the way I painted the Blue Eyes First Dragon on my first attempt, so that's why I scrapped this whole artwork and repainted it from scratch. Now the Blue Eyes White Dragon looks like an actual flat plane, which was my intention all along. And maybe even this might be a hot take, but I actually prefer this artwork over the Yugi one I painted. I think Kaiba's pose is a lot more sophisticated. I think he also looks a lot more true to the original. I know this artwork's never gonna be as popular as the Yugi one, but in my humble opinion, I think this one's just objectively better made. I'm a bit sad that I didn't manage to paint this one in time for it to be printed in my art book, because that way I could have printed like Yugi and Kaiba side by side on a double spread page, but I'm pretty sure by the time I make my next art book, I can think of something else I can print next to Kaiba. I guess only time will tell. Pretty sure most of you are aware of Elden Ring. I actually took the time out of my day to play it a bit, and it's like one of my top games of all time. I had so much fun with it. I especially like the glintstone aesthetic that Elden Ring has. And I was like, yeah, I need to paint this in watercolors. I think magic and watercolors, they fit together so well. So I wanted to paint Rani, who is an actual witch that makes magic and stuff. And by using watercolors, you can have such a nice, dreamy aesthetic. I think my favorite part about this artwork is her holding this, I don't know anymore, this astral flower. It was like one of those flowers that you could use to to like upgrade your weapons. I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, I painted that one with gouache. Also in a live stream, if I'm not mistaken, I think I also painted Ronnie in a live stream. And it's always such a relief having the finished painting right in front of your eyes and being like, yeah, it was the right decision to paint this one in watercolors. I just cannot for the life of me imagine painting this artwork in any other medium. I think watercolors just suits the best with this kind of aesthetic. Now the next one's pretty special because this artwork is something I have history with, because Chainsaw Man is actually the reason I switched to watercolors. Almost exactly 2 years ago, 2020, is when I painted my first Chainsaw Man artwork, and I was so disappointed with the coloring. It looked so stiff and way too clean, and that was the point where I was like, yeah, I just need to change something. So yeah, that's when I stopped using Copic markers, and instead I wanted to switch to watercolors. And I mean, just look at it. I think it was the best decision I could have made. This artwork retains a lot of its actual pure energy, and I think the watercolor amplifies this. I pulled out all the stops for this artwork. Even on stream, I think I called it, and I said that this artwork is going to blow away the old artwork by like a land mile. Just all of the possibilities in this artwork were like endless. The way I made like these blood splatters, because you know, watercolors are actually something you can splatter with. The way you can blend colors in the background so seamlessly, even if it's colors like magenta and cyan. And again, I cannot imagine for the life of me making this with Copic markers. Also, a little cherry on top are like the yellow highlights I added. I wasn't sure about adding them at first because I thought this could get too messy, but like I said, right now I think they are more like the cherry on top rather than something that's distracting you. I think it's something that highlights and also kind of outlines the silhouette way better than any other medium could have done this. In case you're curious, I made this with gouache. I'm not like someone who is painted with gouache at all. I'm just using it to make little lighting effects like that. And also, I think this is something barely anyone has noticed yet, but I wanted to make like a 3D effect with this. I wanted Denji to cut himself free from this artwork, which is why I used a foreshortened pose for him to actually break out of the artwork and cut away the borders he's painted into. This effect actually looks the way it was intended to. I'm pretty proud of it, but I think most people just didn't notice it. And now continuing with anime fan art. This right here is my, I think, very first JoJo fan art, and I didn't have a reason exactly to paint it. I don't follow JoJo's right now. I think I stopped with season 5, Golden Wind. I didn't check out the latest season yet. I actually just wanted to paint like a night sky with a lot of stars in it, and I was like, yeah, Stardust Crusaders, that's actually pretty fitting. And fun fact, I had to repaint this one too. I think I'm going to maybe stream less of my artworks because I just noticed while painting this one, I made mistakes that I usually don't do because I was so distracted by chat. I painted like such an ugly, muddy sky, and this was the point where I said like, yeah, I maybe I need to stop painting artworks on stream. Maybe I'll paint them before stream, and then on stream I'm just making like some finishing touches or something that I don't have to be fully concentrated to do. And yeah, I'm glad I repainted this one. I think this one looks way better. The night sky alone looks like leagues better than it was before. And yeah, also colored shadows. I think this elevates this artwork to new heights. I think just regular shadows would have looked a bit too boring. Shadows with a purplish hue are looking so much better. I think this was the right call to make here. And now we transition over to the next anime watercolor fan art that I've made. I'm not a huge My Hero Academia fan, but just like everyone else, I really like Darby's character design. That's why I wanted to paint him for so long now, but I just wanted to wait for the anime to catch up, so it's not a spoiler anymore that he actually has white hair. I think this suits him so good. And believe it or not, but this artwork is something I painted entirely on stream. Like from beginning to end, the whole artwork was painted on stream, and I was very happy the way it turned out. Also fire. Fire is something I think I didn't paint like at all with watercolors yet, so I wanted to give this a shot as well. And also I think this one inspired me to make like a video about shading faces next year. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this video very soon. And now for the final artwork that I can show you right now. It's this one. I think I'm going to make this the thumbnail of this video because this artwork is something I'm really happy with. And it's one of those spontaneous artworks as well. This artwork is, of course, referenced by a cosplay photo that I've just happened to see one time on Twitter. And I was like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. This basically already looks like a portrait. You just need to paint it. So then I just grabbed my stuff, I grabbed my pencils, I grabbed my watercolor paper and my brushes, and I winged it. And in my personal opinion, that's the way the best artworks get created. Just by spontaneously wanting to draw something. Not by rigorously planning out your artwork for weeks on end, just by having fun and wanting to do something. And by now I painted artworks in a lot of mediums. I painted artworks with, of course, colored pencils, like years, I think like 6 years ago I made my very first big portrait with colored pencils. Of course, yeah, on a tablet. I've also drawn digital artworks, of course. But something I just noticed with watercolor portraits is I kind of think that's the best way for a portrait to look. Of course, it's not incredibly clean or something, but I think that's kind of the point of painting something with watercolor. The way you can see the brush strokes, the way the color blends, I think all of this, of course, doesn't look clean, but it has such a nice look to it. I think there's barely anyone who would dislike this style. Also, talking about liking or disliking, have you liked this video yet? And yeah, painting this one seriously had me thinking about maybe making a video about painting portraits. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do this because, yeah, like I said a couple of times now, my viewer base really doesn't care about painting, but I'm just really in love with it, and maybe someday, in a couple of years, maybe I'm going to make a video about this. I didn't paint this on stream or anything, just like I said, spontaneously, because I saw a picture of a woman I think looked pretty, and that's why I painted it. And now you might think that this was it, because that's basically everything I have in this folder with me, but that's far from true, because as you might see, this video is far from over now. I still have a couple of honorable mentions. These are artworks that I don't owe anymore because maybe they were commissioned, some of them were birthday gifts for family and friends, some of them I did on conventions, so yeah, I don't owe them anymore, but we can still take a look at them. The first and pretty much the most important artwork I've given away this year was this Evangelion fan art. It's one of my favorite artworks I've ever made, and it's been a gift to a person that's really near and dear to my heart. She was going through a very rough time at this point, and I wanted to make this artwork, as dumb as it sounds, to cheer this person up. Also, it was her birthday, but that wasn't the reason why I've made this artwork in the first place. That actually was just coincidence. Of course, it always leaves a sour taste in your mouth, giving away artworks that you're this proud of and that you're this in love with. But, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying this, that this person that I've given this artwork to, I think I've never met anyone that can appreciate my art just like she does. So yeah, out of anyone I know, any person I know, this person right here that I've given this artwork to, I know it's in very good hands, which makes it a tad less painful that, yeah, that I don't owe it anymore. Seeing the smile on her face was worth it. I do not regret making this decision. And that was just the start. I've actually given away a lot of artworks this year because artworks are just the best present to receive, at least in my subjective opinion. You know, like family, friends, they always appreciate you gifting them artworks, and I think that's the best art. I think that's even way better than just buying something that they might not even need. And also, I think to someone who doesn't paint themselves, I think watercolor portraits always look nice. They always look like artsy and painterly because of the texture of the paper and also the way the color blends. Also, a nice side effect of painting all of these artworks is, of course, they all had to look good. I mean, they're like presents, right? So that's why I think I leveled up through making all of them. The fact that I always had to push beyond my limits to make these portraits, to make these artworks, I think this has made me a better artist this year. I mean, of course, it's not easy having, like, juggling a 9-to-5 job while also maintaining 2 YouTube channels, online shops, and so on, like going to conventions. It's a lot of time pressure, but as you might know, real diamonds are only created under pressure. Haha. Also, while we're on the topic of pressure, I've drawn a lot of art this year on conventions. A lot of you guys visited me at my booth this year when I attended conventions, which made me super happy, and yeah, I'm also making commissions on conventions because I don't have anything better to do while I'm just standing there. We've taken a look at all of them on my live streams lately. Some of them I make in color, which is like pretty time consuming. I sometimes tend to make like 30 drawings a day, which, let me tell you, isn't easy, especially when you're also on a stage. It's, you know, as I mentioned, it's a special kind of pressure. But it's not the first time that I'm doing this. I'm kind of used to it by now, so yeah. If you're ever near a convention that I'm attending, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. I've also drawn a couple of commissions this year. I don't do commissions usually. I know a lot of you guys messaged me through Instagram and asked for commissions, but I'm sorry, I'm usually not doing them. These are like exceptions that I've made. Because every month I pick like random persons from my German Patreon and then I'm raffling away commissions that I'm doing. Maybe I'll also start giving away free commissions on my English Patreon as well. I'd love to do it, but I don't have the time to do that yet. Maybe later this year. I'll just keep you up to date on my social media with this one. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I just got used to always working with screen tones when making Patreon commissions. But yeah, bottom line, I also don't owe these artworks anymore because, like I said, they were Patreon commissions. I've already given them away. And out of all of them, I think the Witcher one has to be my favorite one. That's the first time I've used white ink. And the person that received this one actually went wild. They were like so happy with the end result, which, you know, also in turn makes me very happy. But also the Melania one. I think this Melania artwork also has to be a close second favorite artwork of mine. Another honorable mention, I don't know if this counts or not, it's up to you to decide, I guess. I've made a lot of concept art this year. I've had this borderline insane idea to make my own anime figurine, which is, you know, why I created this figurine, and then I sent it over to a very good 3D artist. I just commissioned her to make this a 3D model, and then I got in contact with a company that has provided me with a 3D printer, and yeah, from then on out, I printed this 3D model, I placed it all together, I painted it, and it was a lot of work. This took weeks on end, and I actually hesitate to say it was worth it. If you want to see this whole ordeal of me making this anime figurine, it's on the top right corner. I've linked it, I uploaded this video to my German channel. Or you can just take the shortcut and look at the finished figurine on my Instagram. Now, if you think this has been it, then I have to disappoint you because I painted a lot of other things, for example, shikishi. These are basically Japanese autograph boards. You already know them from my art supplies video. It's kind of become a tradition to paint like 3 or 4 of these and then raffle them away at conventions that I'm attending. So yeah, I also don't owe these anymore because, yeah, you could win them at my convention booth. And people did win them. They are all gone and I'm very happy people were so eager to win them. I usually make like 3 shikishi per convention, but it also depends on how big the convention actually is. For smaller conventions, I don't make like 3 of them at once. And to top off this video, I have 2 very big honorable mentions. Both of them have been commissions by big companies. The first one has been a painting for Amazon. They commissioned a video on my German channel where I'm painting a whole PC. They sent this massive unit over and yeah, I had to paint it with acrylic colors. Amazon holds the rights to a video game that's called Lost Ark, and they wanted me to paint a warrior from this game. This whole ordeal took like 3 months because I not only had to paint the PC, but I also had to film it. And maybe you can imagine that filming all of this isn't so easy when you're on your own. So yeah, for 3 months my life consisted of nothing but coming home from work, making new videos for you guys, while also making a new book, and on top of that, working on this whole PC video painting thing. I think my favorite part about this artwork actually is the background. I think the way this looks with acrylic colors just looks so, I don't know, like art, like I've actually painted it on a canvas and not on a damn PC plate. I actually struggled a lot with painting the actual knight, or more like his armor. I think I overpainted the helmet like 3 times in total. Painting all of these reflections and stuff, believe me, it wasn't easy. It really wasn't. Also, Amazon made a giveaway out of this, so you had the chance to actually win this PC. Most people actually just wanted it because it had like an RTX in it, which is reason alone to want to win this thing. I don't know who ended up winning it. I just sent it over to Amazon and they raffled out the winner. But whoever ended up winning this PC, congratulations to you if you're watching this. And if you're interested in watching me paint this thing, I linked the video on the top right corner. Like I said, it's uploaded on my German channel because that's where Amazon commissioned it. And now one last artwork I want to show you, which is my very first oil painting. Now the video as well as the actual oil painting has been commissioned by Bösner, which is a very popular art store in Germany. Now the thing is, I've never painted with oil colors before and I only had like 5 days to paint this thing. So yeah, this whole artwork as well as the video has been the reason why I didn't upload anything to my English channel in December because, yeah, let's say I was pretty busy with this. The video alone took me like 2 weeks to edit. So as you can imagine, this forced me to pull out all the stops. And somehow I kind of managed to paint something kind of decent. I think for my very first oil painting, this could have looked a lot worse. Also, you know, given the extreme time pressure and somehow fighting through all of these struggles and extreme deadlines, I feel like I came out being a better artist. Especially now that I've also experienced painting with oil, I feel like this is a kind of experience that you don't get to collect in most cases. Since, you know, oil color's pretty expensive. And honestly, coming into this year, I didn't expect any of these experiences. I didn't expect to paint like a whole PC, and I also didn't expect to paint on a humongous canvas with oil paint nonetheless. And now I'm a bit scared of 2023 because what's next? What am I going to paint next? Like a whole wall, like a house, a cruise ship? I don't know yet, and I'm excited to see what's to come. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, even though this isn't like a super well-made, well-edited, animated tutorial as usual. I was honestly so close to not even make this video because I was like, yeah, who's gonna care about that? But apparently, if you watch this, you've made it till the end. Congratulations. Like I said, I'll be back next week with your regular tutorial content that you have actually subscribed for. Thank you so much, guys, for being there. My name has been Marcel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.